Hello, everyone. How are we doing? The Eagles just won Super Bowl 59. Let's talk about it. And today, a day later, after one of the best days of my life, we will be recapping the Eagles beating the Chiefs in an ass beating of different proportions, 40-22. What a game! What a game! What a game for this Eagles team. Domination on all fronts. All fronts. It started with the trenches on both sides, and we will get into that. It then trickled down into every other aspect of this game. Every single thing was stemming from the trenches. And my God, did the Eagles just look like the better team by far. It was not close. At one point, it was 34-0. At one point, it was 40-6. Don't let the box score fool you. 40-22. All lies. All lies. The Eagles took their starters out late in the fourth quarter, mid-fourth quarter. It was 40-6 when stuff was actually mattering. This game, again, was one of the biggest blowouts in the Super Bowl. One of the worst beatdowns that I've watched in a very long time. This, in my opinion, might be worse than the Seahawks-Broncos game in 2013. Like, it was that bad. And every single member on the Eagles came to play. They all came to play on Sunday. Every single player, every single one was dialed in, and we saw that in their body language. We saw that in all the interviews leading up to the Super Bowl. The team has been locked in. They've had a goal since they got in the playoffs. That's why they benched Saquon in Week 18. Everyone, I want Saquon to break the record. Yeah, do you want him to break the record, or do you want to host a fucking Lombardi in February? Come on, man. This is what they were doing. And they had a goal. They were going to get back to this moment, and they were going to seize the opportunity. And I think only getting the Chiefs in the Super Bowl only added even more fuel to this team's desire, their hunger to get this win. And it is just so satisfying to see them get this one. I wanted them to get this one so bad, so bad. There's so many guys on this team that deserve this win. They deserved it. This team deserved it. They were the best team all year, and I've been saying that. They are by far the best team all year, and I really just do think they deserved it. I mean, it's just one of the best years I've ever seen from a football team ever, and I'm not just saying that because I'm an Eagles fan. It was one of the best. It was one of the most dominant ever. It was just phenomenal. Let's get into some game analysis now. First, we're going to start with the defense because those are the guys that set the tone early, and those are the guys that changed the whole game for Kansas City. Man, it was a tough one for them. These are some statistics for the Chiefs. These are lying in my opinion. Mahomes finished 21 for 32, 257, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. This is wild. Mahomes 4 for 25 rushing yards. Kareem Hunt 3 for 9. Pirine 1 for 8, Pacheco 3 for 7. That is insane. The Eagles let up 20 rushing yards for the running backs alone. I think only maybe around 50 for everyone on the Chiefs. And the Chiefs didn't even run the ball. Like I know there wasn't much of a run game for the Chiefs this year, and that wasn't their formula. But my God, you got to at least keep the defense honest. Just throwing the ball every play is not going to work. It's not going to work. And again, the stats are misleading. Yeah, Worthy finished with 8 for 157, 2 touchdowns. He did well when it didn't matter. Kelce locked up 4 for 39. DeAndre Hopkins 2 catches for 18 yards, a touchdown, but he had an egregious drop when it mattered. Juju Smith-Schuster 2 for 16. Hollywood Brown 2 for 15. These guys did not make an impact at all. And I was saying that in the preview. Taking emotion out of it as an Eagles fan, I don't really think there was a reason to be too scared of these Chiefs receivers, and the Eagles obviously felt the same way because that's what they did with the game plan. And now let's get into that game plan. Holy Christ, like the Eagles didn't blitz all last night. They did not blitz once. They didn't blitz once. Mind you, they were out there a lot last night, and they didn't blitz once. And they had a total of 6.5 sacks. Shout out to Milton Williams, 2 sacks for him. Josh Sweat, 2.5 sacks. Jordan Davis, 1 sack. Who else had the other half sack? Jalen Hunt. These guys came to play on the D-line, and they set the tone all freaking night. when it came to the run game, even though KC didn't run it a ton, you stopped them. And again, creating that pressure was so important. And I said that going into the game. I was concerned for Kansas City's tackles because they were not good. And that leads into an Eagles win. And my theory was if KC can't block the Eagles on the edge, you're going to start creating one-on-ones for Jalen Carter. And it's just not going to work. There's not enough guys to block that amount of talent. And again, I'm going to say it. You got Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis rushing up the middle, and Milton Williams. On the outside, you have Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham, Jalix Hunt. Why am I blanking right now? Jalix Hunt, Smith, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on Josh Sweat? There's just too much talent there. There's too much depth for them to really make a play on the Eagles and try to block all those guys. It's just not going to happen. It's not, especially when you have a guard playing at left tackle. It's just not going to happen. So I thought the Eagles' game plan was phenomenal. They knew they had the personnel to do it. And to see it actually executed on that level, again, I have not seen a defensive performance like that, I don't think ever, from the Eagles. I just, and again, I'm not saying Kansas City was the most high-flying, prolific offense, but my God, 6.5 sacks. 6.5 sacks. And we're not even talking about the 3 turnovers. Milton Williams with the turnover. He had a nice forced fumble at the end of the game as well. And then, of course, the 2 big interceptions. The first one to start it off. Man, Zach Bond with a beautiful play. He drops down in coverage. He fools Mahomes. And then Mahomes throws the ball. Doesn't even see DeJean on his birthday to the crib. Are you kidding me? White Boy of the Year. It's only February, and he's White Boy of the Year. He's White Boy of the Year, and it's February 10th when I'm recording this. He's White Boy of the Year. What a play for that kid, 22 years old, in the biggest moment on his birthday, Super Bowl. That's how you get it done. I think a drive or two later, bam, the guy that's been making plays all year, he's all pro. Zach Bond with a beautiful interception. I mean, this defense, again, I said it going into the game. I was a little worried because they were relying on turnovers so much. But at the same time, my counter argument to myself was this team leads the league in turnovers. They've been doing it all year. And again, they did it again. An insane defensive stat after this game and now after this playoff run. In 4 playoff games, the Eagles had 13 turnovers forced. That is over 3 a game. That is over 3 turnovers a game. You're averaging over 3 turnovers a game as a defense, and you did it in every single game. Oh my God. I mean, just unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable stuff from that defense. And again, those corners came to work as well. Slay wasn't letting up any big plays. Quinion, he didn't let up any plays. Sure, he got cooked by DeAndre Hopkins in a garbage type touchdown. Come on, I don't care. Gardner Johnson was making plays. And honestly, this isn't even necessarily the Eagles' defense, but I just didn't think Mahomes looked that good last night. It's probably his worst game I've ever seen him play. He just looked off. He just looked rattled. Was missing a few throws early, like that one throw over the middle to Kelce was slightly behind him. Again, no idea what he was looking at on the Cooper DeJean pick 6. He got some pressure in his face, and that caused the Zach Bond pick. He just did not look good last night. He did not look good. It was just overall a defensive masterclass. To do this, to stop the three-peat, to neutralize the second-best quarterback ever like that, I mean, my God. To out-scheme Andy Reid like that, Vic Fangio, you deserve all the credit. These players deserve all the credit because these guys have been playing all freaking year. They've been the best defense in the league for a reason, and I'm glad they had their best game of the season on the biggest stage so everyone can remember them because this was just a unit that deserves to be praised. They deserve it, and I'm just so happy that they balled out like that. Now on to the offense. The offense, again, looked really good. The Eagles played their best game. The Eagles played their best offensive game, I would say maybe in the Super Bowl or either in the NFC Championship. Also, crazy statistic about both. The Eagles scored 95 points in the NFC Championship and in the Super Bowl. Let that sink in. 95 95 points in the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl combined. No one's getting in your way if you're scoring 95 fucking points. No one's getting in your way. But let's get into these stats for the Eagles. First off, you got to give credit to where it's due. He's been doing it all year, and I'm so glad he's shutting down all the haters. What are you going to say now? Jalen Hurts has a ring before Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. Come on, man. 17 for 22, 221 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He did have the pick, but other than that, the kid was flawless, was in command of the offense. 11 rushing attempts for 72 yards and a touchdown. It doesn't get better than this. Dude, he was locked in all game, making beautiful throws. He even had that one beautiful play on the 4th down taken away from him because of the ticky-tacky call on the A.J. Brown play to start the game off. I mean, my God, Jalen Hurts, he played phenomenal. He just looked in control. His deep bomb to Smitty down the middle was beautiful. He just did everything you needed him to do and more. And he shook off that interception. He stayed resilient. He battled. And again, he had one of his best games all year. And he had 2 of his best games of the season in the 2 biggest games of the year. Like, what are you going to say about this guy? Because he's now been in 2 Super Bowls, and he shows up in each one. He didn't win the first one, but he won the second one. And, man, I'm so happy for Jalen. And even more credit to Jalen because they did all of this with Saquon Barkley not even being a factor. And I got to give Kansas City credit. They did a great job of stopping Saquon Barkley. Obviously, that was their game plan, and why wouldn't it be? I mean, he's been the X factor for this team all year. 25 carries for only 57 yards. But I think at the same time, it was almost to their detriment that they keyed on him so much because then Hurts is going to start beating you with either the pass or the rush. And there's only so much you can defend with this amount of talent on the field. And I know Saquon didn't have the greatest game yesterday, but I don't care. He's a world champion. And this man carried the Eagles. Not necessarily carried, but he was the key to this offense all year. And I'm just so glad he got it done in the Eagles green, not the Giants blue and red. He gets it done. And he had the best running back season of all time. And he did it for the Eagles. And he got a Super Bowl. I mean, are you kidding me? You can't script it any better than this. Especially as a Penn State and an Eagles fan. I mean, this is a borderline wet dream for me. But, hey, that's enough of that. When we get into the receiving game, Devontae Smith again doing his thing. It's like this guy he's just every single day, every game, minimum 60, 70 yards, 4 receptions for 69 yards and that beautiful touchdown. A.J. Brown, 3 receptions for 43 yards and that touchdown. Should have had more, in my opinion, if they didn't take that call away from him. Jahan Dotson showing up on that first drive with honestly, it looked so close to being a touchdown. I did feel for him, but he still made plays when it mattered most. And when he's been counted on, which he hasn't had too many opportunities this year, he's made a play every single time. Shout out to Jahan Dotson. Barkley did all right in the receiving game. He had that beautiful catch down the sideline, 6 for 40. Dallas Goedert was getting hot in the beginning of the game, 2 for 27. He kind of cooled down after that, but again, it didn't matter. He still did his job, and he helped the Eagles win. I thought the offensive line looked phenomenal. There really was no pressure up that on that side of the ball. Yes, again, they were killing us in the run game, specifically in the interior side, but Jalen Hurts, I think, maybe he was sacked once yesterday. Other than that, he had all day in the pocket. They did a great job on Chris Jones, and then, of course, Chris Jones did get banged up, but they did a great job on him. Mekhi Becton was out for a little bit. He came back in. He's a warrior. I know Juergens was slightly banged up in that game, even at the end of the game, too. Like, there was just so many guys putting up dog-level performances, and they got it done. And when you score 24 points in the first quarter, I guess technically 17, because the Coop pick 6, no one's stopping you, bro. Like, it's just not going to happen. So much credit to this offense. Credit to Kellen Moore for getting in his bag. Again, his 2 best games of the season, calling plays, the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl. He did what Jonathan Gannon can't do, and show up in the big moment and actually get it done, and then proceed to go to another job and not even think about it. Because, again, Jonathan Gannon couldn't have done this, but Kellen Moore did. And shout out to Kellen. He wasn't my favorite of all time calling plays, but at the end of the day, he led this team to a Super Bowl with his play calling. And he kept it simple, and it really worked for the Eagles. So I'm never going to take that away from him. And I haven't mentioned him yet, and I got to give him credit. I wanted him fired after the Tampa game. I will admit I was in that what do you want to call it? I'm not sure what you want to call it, but I will admit I was in that I guess that base. I wanted Nick Sirianni gone, but I gotta give him credit. Nick, he righted the ship. He showed me so much about him as a person this year, learning to grow from his early mistakes in the season with yelling at the fans, not leaning more towards a pass-oriented offense rather than a run-oriented offense. Learning to, listen to his players. Oh, they want to run the ball more. Let's run the ball more. Just knowing how to cultivate that culture and getting guys fired up, getting guys to play for him. He had this stuff on lock all year. He's had the message get to them all year. It didn't get stale. He bounced back from the disgusting collapse last year. And my God, what a redemption season for him. Because I really did want this man fired. And he then just proceeded to say, oh, yeah, really? Yeah, fuck you. I'm going to go take this team to the Super Bowl. We're going to go win it. And we're going to go kick the shit out of the Kansas City Chiefs. What a year for Nick. I think they said he's going to get a payday soon. So happy for him. And now I think we can say, arguably, he's the best Eagles head coach of all time. I mean, he got him to 2 Super Bowls, and he's 1 out of 2. Doug got him to 1, but he only won 1. Andy got him to 1. He didn't win it. I think right now you have to say Nick is probably the best Eagles coach of all time. And there's still plenty of time left with him coaching this team, so we will see how this goes in the future. But that's for another video down the road. And, of course, I still got to give love to the special teams. Braden Mann with some nice punts. He didn't have to punt a ton, but he had some nice punts when it mattered. Pinned Kelce back real far, and some of those ended up actually resulting in positive plays for the Eagles defense. And Jake Elliott, the guy that I was worried about today, honestly a ton, or yesterday going into the game, he made every PAT and he made every field goal. When this guy is in the biggest situations, he shows up, and as much slander as he deserved at times this year, making all those kicks in the playoffs, specifically that Rams game in the snow, I mean, he's still solid in my book, so I'm looking forward to seeing him play for the Eagles next year. Hopefully he can fully right the ship, but still, he's the best kicker in franchise history. I'm not going to get on him. He was perfect. Love that for him. And man, it's just one hell of a ride for this team. Again, I never thought this team would be here after Tampa. I was on vacation in Barbados watching that shit. Turned it off early. I said, you're not fucking up my vacation. And to see that it came to this point of the season where they go to the Super Bowl and they kick some ass. They didn't just win the game. They fucking kicked ass. And just to see what this team did this year, to be this good of a unit with that young of a defense, Vic Fangio in his first year with the Eagles just coordinating one hell of a game, one hell of a season. Kellen Moore getting it going, specifically down the stretch of the season. Nick Sirianni getting the whole locker room together, united, everything, and him learning from his mistakes. Seeing Jalen Hurts finally get the credit that he deserves. Barkley having the all-time the all-time running back season with the Eagles and to get a Super Bowl. A.J. Brown gets a Super Bowl. Devontae Smith gets a Super Bowl. All these guys gets a Super Bowl. Lane Johnson gets a second Super Bowl. Brandon Graham gets to retire with a second Super Bowl. Darius Slay, he might have played his last game with the Eagles ever. He gets a Super Bowl. Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, if they don't come back, it is what it is. It will suck. But I'm so glad that those guys made themselves even more money on Sunday night. Zach Bond again making more money, showing everyone that he is a dog. Garner Johnson showing he's a winning player. I mean, oh man, Reed Blankenship, DeJean, Quinion, everyone showing up. That D-line, man, everyone. Jalen Carter, Davis, Hunt. Nolan Smith, I'm just so proud of this team. Like, I really am so freaking proud of this team. And I wanted them to win this so bad because I wanted revenge on KC. I'm not a KC hater, but to get that win back was really, it really did mean a lot for me because they should have won in 22 and they didn't. But I think that honestly, it really fueled them, I think, in this game. And now I will make a video on this later, but I think this is by far the best Eagles team ever. I think it's the best Eagles team ever. And I'm just so glad that they actually won yesterday, and I can say that with full-on confidence now. I don't have to put an asterisk of, they lost the Super Bowl like I had to do with 22. No, they're the best Eagles team ever. They showed it last night. They showed it all year. And again, to bounce back like this organization did from last year, which was disgusting football, a disgusting collapse, to bounce back in this way, in this manner, with the new additions that they made. Shout out to Howie Roseman. Shout out to Jeffrey Lurie. One hell of a year. Eagles win Super Bowl 59. Eagles now have 2 championships. I just can't believe this. I really can't believe it, and I'm just so grateful for this team. They gave me so many good memories this year, and I'll be savoring this one for a very, very long time. I can't wait. I'm going to have some more NFL videos coming out this week, mostly about the Eagles, but just a couple more ones in general. Be on the lookout for that. We'll be embracing the offseason. We still got plenty of other sports to talk about as well. But man, oh man, what a game this was. So grateful they got it done. I just love this team. Love this team, love this city. They deserved it. All right, if you are still here at this point in the video, feel free to give this video a like. If you have any thoughts down below about the Birds winning the Super Bowl, drop them down below in the comments. If you like my type of content, feel free to subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace, guys.